and the talented guys that ride the pine. It's about the little things, the GBs, clearing the ball. Things like that, the intangibles that really, when you bear down the game, are the things that make champions and make teams successful.
In 2003, Coach John Zissi, a three-time All-American lacrosse player at Tufts University, moved to California to pursue his passion for teaching and coaching.
I was Jake's middle school teacher, 7th grade, taught him for 7th and 8th grade. He was in my social studies class, struggling a little bit. I said, let's make a deal. I need you to play lacrosse.
And I remember Jake coming home, mentioning to me, saying, I'm not going to play that little stick sport. He was kind of poking fun of it.
He said, you can just play one practice, just try, and I distinctly remember saying, I'll play your stupid sport for one day.
So Jake came out, and I think it was the first time Jake had really struggled with anything.
I was terrible. I was one of the worst guys on the team.
He's such a gifted athlete that football and basketball came so naturally. I think he was intrigued at something that he wasn't instantly good at.
Coming from such a competitive background, that's what drew me into the sport so quickly. I wanted to do better, and I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to excel, and I could not figure it out for, months.
He never put the stick down. He was always carrying it around, cradling it. Everywhere he went, there was pieces of lacrosse sticks all over the house, and I kind of knew at that point that he was sold, and I was happy about that because he never ever complained about going to practice or having games. He was always excited about, I think, the new challenge that lacrosse provided.
Last year was the first year the West really made an impact. We finished 5th out of 10, which is still, it's a step in the right direction, and I think we caught a lot of attention. So we beat Long Island, which is a huge victory for us, and fell just short to New England team that I think went on to the finals. Jake was a big part of that. He had the game-winning goal in the Long Island game in overtime, and really set the stage for him to come back this year, and hopefully he plays well. A, you've been hurt, and B, it'll set the tone for how you're going to play in that game. I mean, it's all your buddies, so it's going to be fun, but yeah, it's important that you represent yourself, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
You got a lot to prove. I mean,
yeah.
Bottom line, it's important that you do well, because a lot of haters out there.
I don't know, I kind of want to show that I can play more than just transition,
But I mean,
all
teams aren't going to be, they're not going to be sliding to you early, they're not going to be shutting off. It's just going to be like a normal game for you, which will be good.
Community for West Coast lacrosse just in general is really, really tight. Naturally, we just kind of bond in that way that we are constantly the underdogs. It's not like an East-West thing, it's just that we feel that we have something to prove.
I think generalizations that probably we have the best athletes. I think the coaching is a little bit behind the East Coast.
So these athletes, these tremendous athletes who used to come to us as athletes but not skilled players, are developing that skill set.
Over the last 10 years, the development, I think aside from the depth, it's not a whole lot different than the East Coast at this point.
They're quickly becoming a big part of the landscape in Division I lacrosse. He speaks to exactly what I'm talking about. And I think he's a pretty special athlete and an awful talented player.
My fear is being one-dimensional, just my competitive nature.
Presented by Corrigan Sports Enterprises. Events from conception to fruition. Produced by Jalbert Productions International. Undeniable, the road to the Under Armour All-America game.
Out on that field is one thing. Immortality, boys. And there's no one who deserves it more than us. Big history tonight, boys. 1, 2, boys. 1, 2, 3.
Baltimore's always been a hotbed. You're almost born with a lacrosse stick in your hand. You go into your high school scene where the MIAA may be the best conference, top to bottom, game to game in the nation with schools like Boys Latin.
Boys Latin is a perennial lacrosse powerhouse in the MIAA. The school has a history of producing top-tier lacrosse players in the Baltimore area.
The game plan all year long was you stop Shaq Stanwyck, you have a pretty good chance of stopping Boys Latin. No one was able to stop Shaq Stanwyck.
In 2013, Shaq helped lead the team to a 16-0 record, but they failed to secure the championship.
He has a tremendous skill set, but I think the thing that really stands out for me is what a great job he does allowing the game to come to him and making everybody around him better by doing that.
In 2014, things would be different. Shaq led Boys Latin to an incredible 18-0 record. Capping the season off with an MIAA championship victory over St. Paul's.
He not only showed why he's the #1 recruit from a talent and performance standpoint, but also think a leadership standpoint. That was his team this year. For them to come out on top undefeated and him to be the best player hands down in the area, maybe in the country, I think speaks to his prowess.
When they were young, we would play catch. What to do, I've got to cut the grass, but maybe you might want to start throwing against the wall.
The wall was first introduced by Mr. Stanwyck to allow his children to hone their skills and practice rain or shine.
He just came out here, he measured out 6 by 6, painted it on. It's uneven a little bit, so it'll give you some bad passes and help us all work on catching it in awkward places, some stuff that you're gonna do in games. You know, the more you practice, the more comfortable you're gonna feel with your stick. And the more comfortable you feel with your stick, the better you're gonna be. When you're out on the field, you're trying to make those quick decisions. You don't have to worry about what you're gonna do with your stick. The amount of righties that I do lefties. That's kinda just so I can get that right hand as good as my left hand.
The beauty of this thing was that you can play any time of the year. And it just got the kids out of the house, got them some exercise, and improved their skills.
I would time dinner around him, and he would say, well, now I need 30 minutes, I'm going out to the wall. And I would be ready to serve, and I'd say, well, you're going out to the wall. I reheat more than I cook, so.
Probably around like 5th or 6th grade. Instead of watching TV, I got out here. It was kind of like something to clear my head a little bit. At the same time, you're getting better, and you're just doing it because you love the game.
It's my dad. He's got that kind of brain that knows what it takes to be good at something. He thought you need to practice the way you play. And then the repetition has been huge, I think, in terms of getting everyone's hand-eye coordination. It stemmed from him. Obviously, he can't make you do the workout, so everyone else had the drive to get out there and play.
With the Stanwyck family, it's unbelievable the level at which they play and the consistency from one child to the next. It starts with Sheehan, the All-American at Georgetown, one of the best ever. Now you're talking about Shaq, and the potential that he has could really make an impact at Johns Hopkins University. And then you take the 6 in between, and they're just as good as, if not better, than the 2 bookends. The Stanwyck's wall in the garage has become legendary. That's where the kids get their start. That's where the groundwork's put in, putting in the hard work against the wall, developing a right hand, developing a left hand, quick releases, accuracy, pinpoint passing, those kinds of things. This kind of goes back to being old school. Look at the sticks that the boys use, traditional pocket. I don't think the traditional has been in vogue now for the last 10, 12 years. It's really an old school feel to the way they go about their business and the way they play the game.
For the Stanwicks, lacrosse is a family passion. All 7 of Shaq's siblings have played Division I collegiate lacrosse and have earned an array of accolades in recognition of their amazing talent.
Impact. What goes into becoming a great player today is different. Talked about Shaq, and I've been watching him for years, not in organized lacrosse, but out on our field.
I want to be as good as I can be. On those days where it's like rainy or crappy weather, I try and get out there, go shoot, probably hit the wall. Right now, for this summer, I want to become a lot stronger. I'm going to be going against guys that are going to be a lot taller, bigger, faster, stronger than me. Continue to work on important stuff in my game, stick skills, shooting, stuff like that to work on the whole summer, so a lot ahead of me.
The level of work ethic that a young man has to have, I think some are surprised when they get to Division I level. He's just had an outstanding career, and we certainly are excited to welcome what we think is a great kid, a hard worker, and a skill set that will certainly help our program.
If he works the way he's worked throughout his high school career and he stays on track, he could be the next great Hopkins attackman.
Presented by Corrigan Sports Enterprises. Events from conception to fruition. Produced by Jalbert Productions International.
Corrigan Sports Enterprises is a every detail from marketing, public relations, logistics, and cleanup. Corrigan Sports Enterprises handles events from conception to fruition. The premier lacrosse and field hockey recruiting tournaments and high-profile running events. Corrigan Sports Enterprises, bringing your dreams to life. On Saturday, June 1st, the Baltimore 10 Miler will be live on WMAR2 News. It is always the region's best 10-mile race that starts and finishes right at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore. We're known for fantastic premiums, a runner-friendly course, and that zany finish line beach party featuring a Jimmy Buffett band. The B10 is an exciting and fun 10-mile race that will be the highlight of your 2019. You're going to be proud of what you can accomplish. Go to Baltimore10miler.com and register today.
Undeniable, the road to the Under Armour All-America game.
For me, the ocean's always just been right there. There's so many things to do. It's like the biggest free playground ever. So I really grew up there. I grew up close to the ocean wherever we lived. One of the biggest things that I did with my dad before he passed away was he surfed and I surfed, and we spent hours in the water. And we would be in there from 8 to 12. Get out, eat, back in the water. It's a great place to kind of get away from everything.
Jake's been in the spotlight since a young age, but Jake loved his dad. They're very similar. Jake shows leadership and charisma and signs of a role model in all facets of things, but to also handle as much adversity as he's had to handle at such a young age and still be that guy is pretty impressive. It wasn't easy. He's a very old soul and a very mature kid, and he's had to grow up pretty quickly.
When Jake was 16, his father, Junior Seau, a California native and 10-time All-Pro NFL linebacker, passed away unexpectedly at the age of 43. After his death, Chargers president Dean Spanos described him as an icon in our community. He transcended the game. He wasn't just a football player. He was so much more.
Being a Seau, it's always expected, oh, he's going to play football. And I thought the same thing because he was naturally talented.
He was playing Pop Warner football, and then in middle school he was playing flag football, and then of course in high school he's expected to play high school football, and even as a freshman he was playing varsity. And so that was always sort of a natural thing, kind of grew up around it. It's part of our history of our family.
Football was always there for me, but I never really fell in love with the sport the way he did. And I think that's just the difference, is that I was around that sport so much, and I grew up around it, that I was kind of tired of it by the time I was 16. I'd spent 16 years living, breathing, eating football.
And when lacrosse came around, it was something that he wanted to do, and he wanted to get better. And that's something I hadn't seen from him before.
I always wanted him to play whatever his heart desired and whatever his passion was. I never, ever was the mother saying, no, you have to play football. This is in your genes. I always wanted him as a young kid to blaze his own trail. Even though Junior would love him to stay in football, I was really pleased with Jake and really proud of the progress he was making and seeing Jake's enthusiasm for the game.
For me, lacrosse was always it. I was looking forward to practice. I was looking forward to working, and I think that that's what made me realize that lacrosse was really the sport for me.
While Jake chose to follow a different passion, he still inherited several of his father's admirable traits.
He definitely saw his father's work ethic and being dedicated to a sport and your teammates and your coaches. I think that's very important in his growth, because anytime you're a successful athlete, it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of dedication, and I know he realizes that.
He was always in the weight room. He was always working. He was always watching film. He was always doing something to better himself at, his trade, which was football.
When he misses a lift, he's a born leader. People just naturally gravitate towards him, and he just controls the team or the room. And I think he's inherited that work ethic and leadership from his dad.
I think that's the sort of thing that you can't really teach or coach a kid. I think that desire and that work ethic and that passion, it has to come from within their heart and their soul and then their gut. They have to really want it. I know Junior didn't really understand all the ins and outs of lacrosse, but I know he was happy to see his son doing well and doing something he loved.
He's also a big pioneer for the West, and that kind of empowers him and drives him. He wants to pave the way for the younger guys below him.
I hope there's some opportunities out there for him to grow the game and to be a part of whatever it is. But, I'm a mom. I just want to see him happy and doing what he loves to do.
I can't really see not being involved in it in the future. I think that growing the sport in the West, the ball's already rolling. It's going to progress to the point that a roster full of 10, 15 West Coast guys for some of the big-time D1s isn't going to be weird.
He's excited about his future playing Duke in the next 4 years. I said to him, number one, you're going to school to get a great education so you can be a productive person in life and enjoy these 4 years. These are the last 4 years of lacrosse you may have. And he said, oh no, Mom, I'll be playing lacrosse forever.
Presented by Corrigan Sports Enterprises. Events from conception to fruition. Produced by Jalbert Productions International. Undeniable, the road to the Under Armour All-America game.
Even though we were out there shooting, putting in the work, we were still always messing around, doing stuff. There was always times where you'd make fun of someone for shooting a certain way, or like when Shaq was younger, he would shoot and it was not going very fast, and we all would start laughing, and we'd have to be like, you have to stop shooting because we can't get serious right now. A couple weeks ago, I scored a goal, and Steele and I were talking about it, and he was like, say goodbye to that. You'll never score that goal in college. Shaq's gonna learn next year from going from high school to college that every team's defender, you know, they were their team's best defender in high school. They were a high school All-American. You're going to have a short memory and be able to come back and, you know, go against them again on that next play. And I think that's something that a lot of the really good players in college lacrosse have today.
This fall, Shaq will join his brother Wells, a senior at Johns Hopkins University. Wells is coming off a great season in which he led the Blue Jays in points.
It was a big part of my decision. You know, having a year with him at Boys Latin was really cool. And when I was looking at schools for college, I always thought it would have been a cool experience to play with him one more time. Ultimately, I loved the school.
He really had great recruiting experiences everywhere he went. Everything was pretty much equal. Finally, he just said, well, I think it's going to be Hopkins. And, you know, we didn't want to say, oh, that's fabulous, because now you'd be with Wells. We really wanted it to be his decision.
She and her younger sister, Wick, were teammates for 2 years at Georgetown University. The two experienced much success on the field.
There's a different relationship you can have with a sibling. It's kind of cliche, but you could read what the other person was going to do. It's a neat thing to watch. I hope I'll get to see them play a lot together.
We know how each other plays since our games are similar. If he's doing something, I can usually tell what he's going to do. I can react to it.
The Stanwyck family has received All-American honors 15 times at the collegiate level.
You know, the Stanwyck family is a pretty interesting group. You know, 8 kids, all Division I athletes, all, you know, pretty talented and have competed at a very high level in their sport, whether it's men or women's lacrosse.
Really, the Stanwicks are the creme de la creme when it comes to the Baltimore genre, if you will, of lacrosse. The elegance, the stick work, the IQ.
It's just something you can't teach. Skills you can practice and you can work on. Shooting you can practice, dodging you can practice, but having that innate sense is something that's developed over years and years and years, and he has, it appears they all seem to have it.
It's a family of excellence when it comes to being on the lacrosse field. Each of them seems a tight-knit group, they're a tight-knit family. Each of them passes down their experience to help the other that's coming up.
The Stanwyck children attribute much of their success to their parents' great support.
2 seasons ago, we had 100 games. We had 3 in college, and Shaq was in high school. We played at Towsontown, so it was up and down Charles Street all week long.
She just supported us the whole way. You know, she was always at every game, always willing to take us to practice, pick us up, take us to games. All over the Eastern Seaboard. You know, she loves it too. She enjoys going to each game.
The secret is really my husband. He is focused on them. He doesn't play golf. He works on this house and on those kids, and he's available to them. He'll play at night after work. Sometimes he doesn't.
I just want the kids to have fun doing what they like to do.
I think lacrosse was what made our relationship so strong. Every time we went out and shop, we'd go with him, just talk, kind of have some alone time. He cares so much about us and the game that he just wants to keep making us better. It's definitely made our relationship that much better.
Before every game, whoever is playing, at whatever level, we have a family text and they will all chime in, have a good game. They all are very aware of each other's schedules and what they're doing that day.
As he enters Johns Hopkins, expectations will be high for Shaq to perform at a level synonymous with the Stanwyck name.
You hear the name Stanwyck, and right away, you have a bullseye on your back. Everybody wants to see if you're just as good as, if not better, than your siblings. I can't imagine what it's like to have 7 older brothers and sisters that have all played Division I lacrosse and have all done very, very well.
I think they've all had a bit of pressure. I don't like it, but they are used to it. But I think he will have pressure going into this as a freshman. I think he'll feel a little bit of the heat.
A lot of the Blue Jay faithful are hanging their hat on Shaq Stanwyck as being a leader, stepping on the field from day one and really contributing and getting the Blue Jays back to the national semifinals.
It definitely creeps in sometimes, but as a player, you got to forget it. You know, that's part of being mature and go out there and work a little harder.
The thing that amazes me, maybe more so than the fact that they've got tremendous ability, it's kind of people they are. You know, there's a word that we use a lot around our locker room, and it's humility. And, you know, mom and dad should be commended on how they raise their kids. All of them have a great sense of humility.
I've always tried to treat people how I would want to be treated, and, you know, that's something we've always instilled in our children. It's the golden rule, right?
You look at him, he's the #1 recruit according to Inside Lacrosse. He's an Under Armour All-American. He's just a guy who at every level has met the expectations and has exceeded the expectations. He's got a God-given gift and he's made the most of it and worked really hard to make himself the best he can be.
Looking forward to meeting all the guys that are going to Hopkins in my class. It's kind of something I've always wanted to do growing up. You know, to play there for 4 years and get one with my brother is something really cool.
Our sport's changed in so many ways. The expectations of these young men and young women now has changed. The level of work that's being put in by many of these young people today is dramatically different, at least than when I played.
It's a training regimen. It's a full-time job. These kids are working out constantly. They're physical specimens.
Basketball has always had the McDonald's All-American game and football as the Under Armour All-American game. We're showcasing our sport.
We'll be the best players, best seniors in the country. It puts an emphasis on how far the game's spread. You can see those guys that are from the different states that don't get the kind of press that Long Island schools or Maryland schools get.
I'd always been infatuated by, the Under Armour senior game, and it's such an honor and it was such a privilege to be recognized in that way.
It's very competitive. Kids have a lot of pride for their regions and areas, and they're really competing to represent where they're from.
I've had the pleasure of calling 7 Under Armour All-American games, and I can tell you it is an event that is second to none. It is a real badge of honor to become an Under Armour All-American.
These All-American games give fans a chance to see players that be for their team in the future and who's arriving on campus. For me as a coach, I got to tell you, I love the game. It gives me a chance to watch them against the best of the best of the best.
Presented by Corrigan Sports Enterprises. Events from conception to fruition. Produced by Jalbert Productions International.
Coaches in the nation are getting ready to select the best high school underclass lacrosse teams in the country. Can you make the cut? The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryouts have become the premier lacrosse exposure showcase in the entire sport. Exhibit your skills to top D1, 2, and 3 coaches and compete against the top talent in your region. Push yourself, shape your future, rep your region. Visit UnderArmourLacrosse.com now and register. Welcome to the FCA Lacrosse MIAA, the Gilman Greyhounds, which is their arch rival and also poses a threat both ways. Whoever wins in, whoever loses is out. I'm Booker Morgan, joined by longtime boys Latin coach Bob Shriver. Coach, have you ever seen a game with these kinds of implications?
Well, we've had a number of those over the years in the MIAA, but this is great. A rivalry game, and the loser's going home for the rest of the year. Winners staying on and playing somewhere Friday.
A lot of value for these seniors on both squads. You like some guys on Gilman. Who are we looking for?
Well, we did the Gilman game on last Saturday against Boys Latin, and their middies really stood out. Number 1, Andy Andrews had 3 goals. A big, not big, but a really strapping, strong young man. And number 4, Gilman's most complete middie, Will Godine. Both seniors, really outstanding last weekend. They scored 5 goals.
And seniors is the theme here, the players to watch for the McDonogh Screaming Eagles. Who you want us to look for?
Number 26, Evan Long has stood between these pipes for the last 3 years. He's an outstanding goalie, headed to Towson University, and he's really had a wonderful career, and I know he certainly doesn't want to end it today.
And for the attack unit, Liam Powderly he's got some funk in his bag.
Liam Powderly, he's a 4-year starter on the attack. This could be Liam's last lacrosse game ever. He's headed to Virginia to play golf, actually, and you know he doesn't want to leave anything out on this field.
It'll be a tremendous matchup. We'll be back with the face-off and a playoff play-in game in the end of the regular season in the MIAA. Doesn't get any better. We'll be back with face-off. WMAR2 News. It is always the region's best 10-mile race that starts and finishes right at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore. We're known for fantastic premiums, a runner-friendly course, and that zany fit. The B10 is an exciting and fun 10-mile race that will be the highlight of your 2019. Of what you can accomplish, go to BaltimoreTenmiler.com and register today.
Summer's here, and with a great deal on a new Toyota, you can do all the things that make the season so much fun. Like go biking, Mother's Day, glamping, graduations, music festivals, motocross, zip lining,
Now lease an all-new RAV4 for just $199 a month. Or buy one with $1,250 Toyota Finance Cash. Or pick a versatile CHR with $1,500 cash back.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
And it is the final day of the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week regular season. As we see the McDonogh Eagles, they'll be in their home whites, Gilman Greyhounds in their road blues.
Leave it out on the field today. You know, you don't want to walk off this field. I always used to like to say, just make sure you leave a part of yourself out on the field today. For the McDonogh guys, it's their home turf, so they really want to do it. And Gilman guys, you know, they're fighting for their lives. The winner of this game will keep playing. The loser of this game is going back to the locker room today, and they're packing up their stuff and taking it home.
It's a great message for a kid. This is the corner you paint yourself into. Facing off today for Gilman, the visitors, Nick Tusing, wearing number 44, and as usual, junior face-off star for the McDonogh Eagles, number 14, Gable Braun. We talked about Evan Long in the goal for McDonogh, Noah Klein in goal for Gilman, also a senior. Seniors, this is their last game.
Potentially.
One of them, it definitely is. Great excitement as we see a violation before the whistle. Keep those in mind as Godine.
This is an interesting matchup. Hillgardner, number 20. Scotty Hillgardner, just a sophomore, is matched up with Big Billy Spillman, and he has definitely given up some size. Spillman's got him by about 4 or 5 inches. But when we did the Gilman game the other day, Booker, it was all midfield, it seemed like, did most of the damage for the Greyhounds.
And as you say that, we see number 1, Andy Andrews, dodge into the cage. Shot goes just over here. Spillman backing it in. Now it's Godine. Logan Paff now with it. Number 3 for the Greyhounds. Slide comes. Did they communicate it? Paff just survives and gets it back to Godine.
This is a great match. This is a terrific lacrosse player. Number 11 for McDonogh, just a for the Eagles in football and wrestling.
Sam King gets it up the top, and now it's back with Paff. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Again, over the cage, inside feed shot. What a save long! Highway robbery.
Gilman, the other day, started very similarly against Boys Latin. They had the first possession. They just took 4 shots there. Only one of them was on goal.
And McDonogh's offsides there.
And they called him, Booker. Good call, but only one of those shots was on goal, and it was a good one, and Long was up to the task.
That was just a tremendous save by the senior, Evan Long. Had a chance to catch up with his father before the game. This is King.
And Gilman has, there's Long. He does it all the time. You think you can get that thing up over his shoulder, and he just stands up tall, matches sticks with King. I think Gilman made a mistake that time. They had Bonnets off the field. McDonogh had 3 short stick middies on the field, most of them offensive players, and they didn't exploit that and try to get the ball to any one of those 3, Paff, Andrews, or Godine.
Interesting because they had a full shot clock as well. Here's Scott Cole. Shot goes wide. McDonogh, first offensive possession.
Booker, Scott Cole, number 2, has really come on for the Eagles as this year has progressed. He's a quality player. He'll invert him some. Scored a lot of big goals for him this year.
McDonogh has their defender hung up. Here's Swanson. Swanson plants, rolls back. Righty, big shot. Just wide. Scotty Cole, number 2, running behind the cage. 29 seconds on the shot clock. Swanson up top. Bound for Navy. This is Hillgardner. The left-hander. Powderly behind, minded by Xander Martin. Pass up top, shot, save Klein. 2 great offenses are meeting up against 2 spectacular goaltenders. Thrilled to have everybody down at the Valley Inn watching.
Alpert, clearing the ball with his long stick. Scored a goal the other day. After he distributed down to attack, he kind of snuck on in on the crease. Nobody picking him up, he scored. Klein, stick side, didn't get this ball where he wanted it. Klein makes it easy, or makes it look easy, rather. Nobody in the goal. In my humble opinion, every save's a good one when you're standing in that goal.
Spillman, quick shot. Again, they shot high a number of times.
0 for 3 shooting high on long. You got to change the plane on long. On any goaltender, really. They're guilty of shooting 3 high ones back to back to back, and Long's been up to the task.
Adam Lamberti, number 12, into the game for the Eagles. Drive shot, first bounce shot of the game, rebound comes out, and Klein gathers that. And the pass, they're trying to say it was tipped, and it was tipped.
Good call. The officials all over that. Klein should have gotten a little air under that one.
And a nice clear effort by Pierce Washburn, number. I just revealed my Baltimore, Bob. I said Washburn. Washburn. Thank you very much. Godine, number 4, gets it up.
Spillman, they're running Spillman out of the box, Booker, number 13. It's a starting attack when they're running him out of the box, looking to try to create some kind of a mismatch. That ball never got through the defense.
And McDonogh scrambling, just again. Oh no, not subbing. My bad. You hate to see a team go off twice. I think that was my fear there, Bob.
Booker, I don't want to beat up the Greyhounds too much, but I believe they're guilty of taking a lot of questionable shots.
Yep.
I think that shot just in by Paff was a questionable shot. It had no chance of getting to the goal. Wasn't a great angle. You know, bad shots are turnovers.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and while it may not look like a turnover on the score, you know, on the score sheet, it's a turnover.
Oof. Dane Swanson drives in. Head coach for Gilman, Brooks Matthews, his last year at Gilman. Head coach for McDonogh, Andy Hillgartner. I know his mother and father-in-law are here. Inside pass, shot, goal, 1-0 Eagles. Great off-ball movement. And Riley Mitchell, the senior, on senior day. Gary Kimmer thrilled with that one.
Well, Swanson has actually kind of broken up the defense a little bit. He's taken a couple bombs.
Powderly to Mitchell, and that is great offense. We've seen a lot of smooth play, a lot at stake here at McDonogh today. 1-0 McDonogh. As we see on the face-off wing, senior for Gilman, number 4, William Godine, and freshman Johnny Cool.
He's a big kid, Cool. It's the first time I've seen him play this year, Booker. We haven't had McDonogh for about a month. Good-sized kid.
And if I'm not mistaken, Bob, I think he was playing short stick D midi-ish the first time we saw him against Loyola.
Well, that face-off battle will be crucial, as it always is, but Gable Braun a little bit more experienced than Tusing, but Tusing has had an outstanding year for Gilman, facing off at about a 62-63% clip. Matty Hillgardner right there on the goal line extended. He really didn't get that stick out in front of the goal. Klein didn't give him anything to shoot at.
Could you get a sense that Matty Hillgardner was looking to either wrap that in off the pipe or shoot it wide, because it's kind of a possession shot-ish, if that's the term that people use?
Yeah, probably. Nice play. Halpert just stepped up in the passing lane, almost intercepted that pass intended to Swanson, but he couldn't hang on. Ball out of bounds.
This is Dane Swanson, the junior midfielder.
The pipe.
Post Malone showing up early today.
I mentioned Cole earlier. He's really had a great year for McDonogh. A little bit off the radar.
Yep.
Quality player going to Lehigh, just a junior. He's a good-sized kid, and we'll look for him to invert at some point in time during this game.
Riley Mitchell rocks back but has it checked away, and Godine looks to get it and gets it quickly.
Gil would prefer the unsettled. I think their even offense has been a little sketchy this year. They score a bunch of goals in the transition game, so they will push it every chance they get.
And Bob, in our preparations for the game, talking with Coach Hillgardner, the first thing he said was the Gilman transition game is excellent. They can convert. Here's King. King defended by Ethan Robinson. Back to Andrews, the fire plug. Gets down to his left. Slips initially, shoulders his way in, lob pass gathered by Scotty Hillgardner. And now it's back to Robinson. Robinson up to Cody Ince.
It's the right look by Andrews, but he got caught. Hillgardner paying attention on the backside, picked it up, McDonogh ball.
Liam O'Hara, number 10, against Andrews. Gets his left, pushes it back, and now a rollback.
Could have called a moving pick, I believe. I heard a couple people in the stands yelling, number 12, Adam Lombardi. He moved up into the Gilman defender. That could have been called. Great pass by Powderly, and a big-time shot by number 9, Harrison Beatty.
Foul there, Eddie Gianetti, right on the scene. And that'll be our first man up of the day.
Penalties have been a problem for Gilman this year. In our game the other day, we felt very much that the penalties cost Gilman the game in a one-goal game. We did the St. Paul's Gilman game a week before, and the same thing in that game. BL and St. Paul's against Gilman both scored 4 goals on extra man offense, and you know there's goals you're not working for.
Yeah.
Well, you're working for them obviously, but you know when you have an extra man, it's easier to spin the ball.
Hillgardner to Beatty. Beatty cross-field pass. Now they pump it down. Powderly shot goal. Liam Powderly. That's a scratch for you, and it's 2-0 Eagles.
Great play on the extra man offense and a really nice through pass here by Harrison Beatty. Through the ball, through the defense. That means they got to really cover 2 away, which is almost impossible. Powderly sneaking up from the backside. I did not see, I apologize, who threw that to him. Was that Lombardi or was that Cole? Who was that?
Lamberti.
Lamberti, excuse me. Nice feed. Powderly with the second goal.
And we're back, the face-off battle, Braun against Tusing. Tusing comes away with this one and has it immediately checked away. Liam Powderly, go do that voodoo that you do so well. Now he slips and we got a hot mess right in front of the Gilman bench. Braun goes for it, misses it, and it'll be Gilman possession.
just so far, Booker, we've seen a couple kids slip. We had a lot of rain this past weekend. The field's pretty dry, but it's not completely dry. So, you know, those cleats, you got to plant your foot hard and make sure you have.
You know, Jack Emmer, the old Army coach, he used to say great athletes never slip. So he actually...
I watched Gail Sayers play a couple of football games in my day, and he slipped.
I don't think he slipped often, though.
Great backup by Furlong. Furlong, great backup.
Shot deflected on its way.
It's a bad shot. Not a chance of that thing doing anything in the goal.
Here's Paff. Has the alley, opts to push it behind.
They got a nice matchup here. King against a shorty. McDonogh will be quick to slide.
Slide comes, shot over the cage. 31 seconds on the shot clock. Gilman trailing 2-0 late first quarter. Brought to you by your friends at the Valley Inn. Go see Chris Pelkey and my man Ray.
It looks like McDonogh's going to a little bit of a zone here, Booker. 1 minute left in the quarter, and I believe they are absolutely in a zone.
Ball movement. It's the only way to beat a zone.
Good shot that time. They shot low. If that had been on cage, it had gone in the goal. It's a good shot, though.
Shot clock at 4.
Penalty.
King draws the foul and draws another one.
He still got the ball. I don't know why the ref stopped the play.
Shot clock violation.
Excuse me, thank you. You were on top of that one.
I'm on my game today, Bob. You know,
Getting ready for your big NCAA game on Saturday,
Oh
huh?
yeah, for those of you who are ready, get to the ESPNU dial for the Army at Penn game on Saturday at 5. Cannot wait. But Bob, you and I have work to do before then. Friday, we got a playoff game. Quarterfinals on the FCA Lacrosse MIAA game of the week. We don't even know where we're going to.
Who has home games?
I don't think we're sure.
The only way that BL and St. Paul's wouldn't have home games is if Loyola beats Calvert Hall today. And right now I just saw a score that Calvert Hall was winning 4-1, the last score I saw.
Gilman 2 men up now for 30 seconds. And then 1 man up for...
And up, Booker. The guy they love to shoot in this scenario is number 13. He's got a cannon.
Pump fake, 2 Spellman. Low shot outside. Happy Mother's Day weekend. There's a mom goal.
Casey Doyle, brother to a couple Gilman greats. Jack Doyle, Connor Doyle.
Swanson comes to get it. Ball goes on the ground. 17 seconds on the man up.
Hilge's yelling, hold the ball, because if they can hold it, going in down a man, there will be Gilman possession right in front of us to start the second quarter.
So great to have everybody with Kelly & Associates part of the game of the week.
Your summer starts here. Time to hit the road with a great deal on a new Toyota. And who knows what fun treats you'll find along the way.
Like barbecue, lobster,
Beignets,
street tacos. What is lengua?
It's tongue.
Oh.
Right now, buy a Highlander with $2,500 cash back, or take 1.9% APR financing, or pick a Sienna with $3,000 cash back.
Get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
All the amazing advancements in medicine. And while science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we believe it doesn't take a brain surgeon to get the best way to talk to a doctor isn't always in person, and that inside every human body lives a human being. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Corrigan Sports Enterprises is a full-service sports marketing and event management company. Every detail from marketing, public relations, logistics, and cleanup, Corrigan Sports Enterprises handles events from conception to fruition. The premier lacrosse and field hockey recruiting tournaments and high-profile running events. Corrigan Sports Enterprises, bringing your dreams to life.
Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll helps employers and employees save time, money, and hassle in navigating the intricacies of insurance, benefits, payroll, and workforce challenges. Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll is pleased to support CSE TV and the Game of the Week. Visit kellyway.com to put their people, technology, and services to work for you.
Second quarter will start with McDonogh with possession, although they are man down. So they have a penalty to kill off, 13 seconds remaining on that. Gilman fully aware. Coach Brooks Matthews for Gilman. It's his last year, and what a great career he has had as the head. Might not be a penalty, but it is today.
Well, we'll have to wait and look at the replay. It looked actually like a pretty good hit from
like I said,
our vantage point. We just don't know whether he got up in his head or not. That was a great play by McDonogh. Swanson threw that ball to Patterly. He busted up the field and was able to get it. Anyhow, Swanson threw that ball to Patterly, and then he busted right down the middle of the field, was wide open, did handle the pass, and he got tattooed. That was a good hit, Booker. I'm sorry.
And here's my point, Bob. It's 15 years ago, that's a penalty, or that's not a penalty. And nowadays, they have to call that sometimes out of fear. We did the game on Saturday. Boys Latin, A.J. Hernandez had a big, strong, clean hit, and they didn't call it. I thought it was a good no call.
Well, that could have been a good no call. I think that guy threw the flag before the play was even over, quite honestly. But, hey, it is what it is. As you said, they're calling all that stuff. More often than not, the flag's going up in the air. It looked like a pretty good hit. Shoulder into the chest. This is a bad scene for Gilman. Not only are they fouling, but McDonogh's extra man has always been very good.
A little behind the back shuffle right there by J.P. Ward. Long looping pass, Swanson.
Great save by Klein, because Swanson can bring the heat like nobody's business.
Here's that last look.
Good feed.
Swanson again, shot.
Another beautiful save by Klein. They are tough. Swanson threw the first one high and that one low. He changed his plane, changed his shots, 2 different ones. Very impressive.
Xander Martin trying to corral it, gets it up the field. Shot clock at 68. They had time, but Jackson Bonnets, that's no picnic. Jackson Bonnets play some longs there.
Failure to clear after 2 beautiful saves by Klein. This is Gilman's 3rd opportunity on this possession. Those second chances, as we talk about all the time, they frequently will come back and bite you.
Adam Lamberti, number 12, along with Liam O'Hara. And now it's Powderly. Comes off the pick from Hilge. Short stick on Hillgardner.
2 Ivy Leaguers going at it. Hillgardner going to Penn. Paff headed to Brown. This won't be the last time these 2 guys play against each other. They're both seniors.
We like to call it Brown State. I have family who went there. It's inbounds. This is Powderly. Guarded by Witherspoon. No turning the corner there, and he gets it up to O'Hara.
Is this Mitchell?
This is,
no, sorry.
That's Lamberti. Nice little split dodge, hesitation move.
McDonogh's running their offense very nicely. Really good. Bad play by Hillgardner. He tried to make some out of nothing there, and here is Godine.
Godine loves that left-hand sweep slash alley dodge. Here's Furlong. Oh, ball in and out of the stick of Logan Paff. 2 players kind of half collide. Andy Andrews, one of them. No moving pick there. I'd agree with the no call by William Money.
Good matchup here for Gilman. Spillman against the shorty. McDonogh looks like they're zoning up behind it. You'll notice Robinson standing there on the crease very quickly and ready to slide, push.
You don't know why we had a whistle. We had a play on, no worries. That'll reset the shot clock at 80 seconds, and Godine will step it outside the box. for the restart. Behind with King. Sam King, just a junior. Drives from lefty, comes around, righty shot, leg save by Evan Long. And McDonogh gets the clear.
They're under him a little bit. This is a 5-on-4 if he keeps coming.
Lamberti rolls back, little crazy Ivan there in the alley. And now they get a 2-on-1 here on the wing. Powderly steps in, likes what he has, takes what he wants, and stir the soup. Liam Powderly's second goal of the day. Eagles 3-0.
Booker, this isn't a transition goal per se, except Gilman's defense isn't set up with the, now they're sliding. Here's Powderly, takes a beeline to the goal, face dodges this man, takes off his feet, but he dives to the front of the goal, so it's not gonna be a dangerous play into the goal mouth. Terrific goal. Those goals, when you catch a defense, it's not set up. It wasn't a 6-on-5, a 5-on-4, 4-on-3. It was basically a 5-on-5, and Gilman wasn't set up. They slid up the field. Now somebody's sliding to Powderly. He's rushing at the guy. Pretty simple play.
And the slide guy was Andy Andrews, a short stick. So he doesn't even have the advantage of poking out. That's why you're looking at 3-0. McDonogh Eagles in their home whites, Gilman Greyhounds, road blues. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, and Dan Aburn. We got Dan down on the sidelines down there in the wash. I see Ty Zanders over there. This is a huge one.
This is Swanson against Schroeder. Schroeder's a good player, but he's also given up about 5 inches.
Nice save by Klein to go down and get that.
Gilman's in dire need of something good, Booker. This guy's mouth guard's out. Referee is going to tell him to get it back in. Coach Matthews with a good timeout.
7:25 to go, second quarter, timeout taken. Proud to have you as part of the FCA Lacrosse Game of the Week.
August Getz came from Germany, bought a chewing gum company. World War II happened, no more chicken. Began making caramels filled with creams, aka bullseyes. Bright idea. Stretch a caramel cream into a stick and call it cowtails. Tails like fairy tales. Put them in cups. Became #1 selling 25-cent item. Added flavors. Started making minis. Added different pack types. Still family owned. Loved for generations by generations. GetSome.com.
And let's take a look at some of the goaltenders in today's game saying, not at the table, Carlos, inside Evan Long.
First save of the game for Evan Long. Andrews inside, shot it high, Long standing up tall. And then we get Powderly here, feeding the ball. That was Swanson, I think. Klein with a really nice save. Klein here in the last quarter has been terrific. He made 2 big-time saves on Swanson. One of them right here. Klein has kept Gilman in this game.
Without question. Now, Bob, you and I were talking a little bit about Dane Swanson and how hard he shoots the ball. Noah Klein just moved his leg into the way of that ball. That takes courage that I don't have. Speaking of courage, shout out to all our brave service men and women of the armed forces who clearly have more courage than I do. Thank you for what you do. Spillman drives left alley. King behind. Now it's Furlong. Up top. And the Greyhounds push it back behind. Tortolani, number 22 for the Eagles, pushes it. This is King. Pair of 5s going against each other. Robinson gets the better of that one. Picked by Spillman.
Good check by Joe Cole. Oh, that was Bonds. Excuse me, I apologize. Gardner.
And
Gardner has a timeout himself.
He wants to turn the corner here. Shot goal! Hilke! Senior day.
Mom's happy. There's nobody happier than Coach Hillgardner on that play. And Matt, really lovely. Comes right down the middle. Just a terrific play all. You know, they've done a great job on offense. Klein stood up. He hasn't given up too many goals, but this game is slowly and surely getting away from Gilman. They need to get something positive going before halftime.
And it's tough. Gable Braun, the faceoff guy for McDonogh, is a... And this is Paff. Paff gets the inside. Now S dodges to the outside. Behind to King. Nobody open on the inside. Great defense by the Eagles. Oh, a little slip dodge by Matthew Andrews. Paff shot.
That was Godine. That was the best offensive series, I think, that Gilman's had today. Effective ball movement. They had McDonogh's head on a swivel. They're
can move without the ball and move the ball back against the slides up top with Andrews.
Jump into the seams. Gilman's got to step into the seams. Furlong did that time. He got in between two guys and got a good shot off.
And the refs credited Long with getting a piece of that. We're going to get a timeout on the field. We have a shot clock reset. 5:23 to go, 4-0 McDonogh. But this is a winner take all. Winners in the playoffs, loser is out here at McDonogh.
Represent for Rough Rider Nation. The Rough Riders have been on top of the game since 2007. Rough Rider alums continue to shine and won national championships at all levels. Rough Rider teams dominate the countryside in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and now Virginia. Check us out online at roughriderlacrosse.com. It's time to ride or die.
1, 2, 3, ride! Yo, Sean. Yeah,
Welcome to Hunt Country Jewelers, a world of fine gemstones of all colors and award-winning designs, where each piece is handmade in our workshop. From original jewelry and gemstone expertise to commissioning a new piece or a fun evening at our gemology detective events, we invite you to our world full of intricacies and delights, where beauty comes in all price ranges.
Nearly 5.5 minutes remaining here in the first half, and Gilman has yet to dent the twine. Bob, this is a star-studded Gilman offense that can score goals in bunches, and they have yet to get one.
Well, first off, most of the goals they score in bunches are coming off the transition. McDonogh's effectively cut that off. And two, McDonogh's switching into the zone and man-to-man. Looks like they're going to come back to the man-to-man after that timeout. And here comes Bonnets stepping out to Godine. What a
Great check by
just tremendous.
Bonnets. Strip delicious.
Just tremendous.
Jackson Bonnets, number 11 for McDonough, the long stickman. Wow.
This is McDonough lacrosse that we've been watching really for the last 10 years under Coach Hillgardner. Effective offensively, very good in the defensive end, excellent goaltending, offensive and defensive philosophies, positioning, all of the above. They're extremely well coached. They know what they want to do and they execute.
While we're talking, Noah Klein makes a big save, and now Gilman can't handle it. Furlong bobbles it, and credit some of the pressure to Matthew Shields.
Shields came up and would not let that attackman Furlong get the ball. Nice pressure. Halpert was forced. He was getting squeezed. He was forced to try to squeeze that into a very narrow window, and he was unable to do so.
Riley Mitchell gets it over to Dane Swanson.
Swanson hasn't had the same effect that he had last year, and a lot of that is due to he's getting the pole every game. He's getting everybody's attention.
There's your Calvert Hall score, 13-1.
Boys Latin just starting the second half out at St. Paul's and is down 4-3 to the Crusaders.
Klein with a nice save, climbing the ladder there on the low to high offering. And here's Bethel back to Klein.
Well, Gilman cannot even think about complaining about, oh my Lord.
Shot wide by Bonnets on the pickoff.
Gilman cannot complain about the play of Noah Klein. He's been terrific, and the only reason this score is even remotely in their sights. Sam King, it would be.
The McDonogh midfield defense today, Bob, has been fantastic. Here's Andrews up top. Godin gets it over to Furlong.
Furlong loves the goal line extended. He's very good in here.
Nice toe drag. Shot goes wide, backed up by King. There's your St. Paul's boys Latin score, 4-3 at the half. Lake Show up, excuse me. Lake Show down. King rolls off the check of Robinson, now pushes it up. Bounce shot, goal. Gilman on the board. Logan Paff.
Logan Paff had that the whole time. King drew a slide. Logan could have maybe cut underneath. However, King found him. Logan just stepped into this open area. Look, number 10 slides to help Robinson. Now Logan's open. He could have stepped in maybe a little sooner. However, who cares? He did something that his team sorely needed, and that was get the ball between the pipes and past Evan Long.
Sometimes it just takes one to get to two. Bob, I was talking with Andy Hillgartner, head coach of McDonogh, with his father-in-law. And he told me, I don't know where we're going to go or who we're going to see, but they're going to love us. That is not a bad motto to have. Godin, top center, tries to dodge in the left side.
Ball.
This is Paff. Only goal scored today for Gilman. Another bounce shot.
Paff shoots from anywhere. We watched that the other day. He will shoot from anywhere, so I'm sure Evan Long has that in the scouting report and is aware that when 3 gets it, it's coming.
Reset of the shot clock. Furlong will slip dodge. Inside roll. Dive shot. Goal. Referee has his hand up. David St. Hubbins, and goal's good. 4-2. And that's a nifty little inside move there, Bob. You see Furlong.
Talk about Furlong. Loves the goal line extended. He gets there, inside rolls, dives up the field, just like Powderly did at the other end for McDonogh. He dives up the field, so he's not diving into the goal mouth or threatening the goalie. The ball's in the back of the net before he lands in the crease. Referees deemed it good.
Referee David St. Hubbins right on the goal line extended. Perfect vantage point for him. As we are back to the face-off dot. 1:27 to go, first half. Beautiful day here at John McDonogh Stadium on the campus of McDonogh School. Shout out to Dane Swanson.
Coach Hillgartner still has a timeout in his pocket. If he doesn't like what he sees or somebody's about to lose the ball, I'm sure he'll call one, set up his offense to finish the quarter.
Swanson. Ooh. Is that where you keep a timeout, Bob, in your pocket? Did you keep yours there?
Well, it's either in the right or the left. And when you want it, you got to reach back there and call it.
I just like seeing you smile. I know you don't laugh on the air, but I like to see you smile. My man Bob Shriver only coached at BL for 37 years and only won a couple national championships.
Mitchell's had a good year. Been running on one of these first 2 midfields for a number of years, but he's really found his game this year, and he can get to the goal.
His mom, Kim Mitchell, longtime grade school or lower school teacher. Powderly pops it up top, shot goes wide, and that's going to be Gilman ball as McDonogh kind of sold the farm on offense and got everybody in front of the goal, which is not the worst. They have 10 seconds. You know, Gilman scores. Maybe I will get struck by lightning on the way home. ball pinballs around, and Evan Long saves me. Will not be hit by lightning, and that will be halftime.
The score at halftime is 4 for McDonogh, 2 for Gilman.
4-2 McDonogh. My man Dan Aburn is going to bring us a little verbiage from Coach Hilgardner, but what do you expect so far as changes you'd like to see in the second half, Bob?
Gilman finally got a couple really nice offensive possessions where everybody's touching the ball, kids are moving with and without the ball. Instead of trying to create some stuff out of nothing, they've been very effective and scored 2 really nice goals to cut this lead that McDonogh had in half. McDonogh, on the other hand, I think is playing a very good McDonogh game. They're playing quality defense in front of goaltender Long. Offensively, they're moving their bodies as they always do. The ball moves, the bodies move. The ball swings from one side of the field to the other, and they regularly get quality shots.
2 absolutely fantastic coaches going at it, and Dan Aburn is down with 1. Let's go down to the field with Dan.
Yeah, here with Coach Hilgardner. Coach, given the implications of this game, how do you evaluate team's start?
Good start to the game. Gilman did a great job possessing the ball the last couple minutes of the quarter and gave themselves some good opportunities. We got a little unlucky with the missed open goal there, but I like where we are right now.
And what improvements would you like to see in the second half in order to close this one out?
We got to shoot the ball better. You know, Noah Klein's a great goalie, and he's made some nice saves. We got to shoot the ball a little bit better. We've gotten some good looks, but if we do that, we continue to stop their transition game, and we get some saves down at our end, then I think we're going to be good.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
The Kelly and Associates Coach Ketchup. As we see the replays, Noah Klein, number 0 goaltender for Gilman, making some nice plays. Great halftime coming up. Halftime here at McDonogh School. We're at the half. Bob, we flexed off of Calvert Hall Loyola. We
made a couple big-time saves. This one, the biggest. And then McDonogh settles down and really has the better part of the play for the better part of the next 14, 15 minutes. Great play, effective offense. Ball was moving around. Powderly finds Mitchell cutting down. Here's Beatty against against Gilman's man-down defense. He throws the ball through the defense. Lamberti finds Powderly coming around from the outside. What an incredible save right there by Klein, and another one back-to-back on Swanson, but they failed to clear the ball after these 2 wonderful saves he made on the man down. And Powderly, this is Powderly, not a fast break, but it was a little unsettled. Gilman's defense wasn't set, even though they had all the men they needed. This is an incredible play by Hilgardner on a loose ball. He beats that defenseman up the field, picks the ball up, turns it, heads to the goal, and buries it 4-0, and it looks like McDonogh's rolling. And then all of a sudden, Klein again with another beautiful save, And then Gilman gets the ball back here on offense. Sorry, another save that Klein's about to make. He stood on his head this half.
And here comes Gilman, the Greyhounds.
That's King, who effectively drew a little slide from McDonogh. They didn't have to slide. He throws it to Path, who just steps into that opening. Furlong right here. He loves his goal line extended. Inside roll, dives up the field, buries the ball, and gives Gilman some life right at the end of the half, down 4-2.
Assists fairly parochial, everybody doing everything. I mean, those are even stats, Bob, except for the EMO. Gilman 0 for 2. That could come back and bite him. McDonogh's 1 for 1. It is halftime here at McDonogh. We're going to step away briefly, but we have a fantastic rest of the segment as well as an amazing second half on the horizon. Four to 2 your score. McDonogh, the home team in the lead. Gilman has scored the last 2 goals. Booker and Bob Shriver bringing it to you. Thank you so much for being a part of the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. Bob, we have a big game on Friday. Some of that will be sorted out as far as where we are. But today, one of these two teams is going home. The other one is in the coveted MIAA playoffs. What do you like so far about what you've seen from Gilman?
Well, I like the fact that their goalie has kept them in this game, and they finally took advantage of all that good goaltending and scored 2 huge goals to cut McDonogh's lead in half, and they got a chance now. I would have said with about 4 minutes left in the second quarter, even though it was only 4-0, that they were looking down the barrel of going down 5 or 6-0 before half. They didn't, and that's going to give them some juice here for the second half.
Would you call this a low-scoring game?
Well, we don't see too many games like this in the league generally, especially with the advent of the shot clock. But let's go, Klein. I don't know. What's your guess on his saves?
About 7 or 8.
7 or 8. I'd say Long's made 4 or 5. So the quality of the goaltending has kept the score down. But let's see if it doesn't open up here a little bit. Typically, when McDonogh is on their game, he is extremely comfortable with a 4-2 and then end of the game a 8-5, a 9-6 win.
Yeah.
And that's McDonogh lacrosse. So this game, as Coach Hilgardner said at halftime, he likes what he sees, but I think he would definitely prefer
a 10
to
goal
keep
lead.
to keep it going, and not give them any hope like they gave them in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Nick Tusing for Gilman, guilty of the pre-whistle violation. And Cody Ince, the junior, squares up, gives it to Swanson, and we know where Cody Ince is headed.
To where he's going to college next year, but he couldn't be doing
Just a
that. He's
junior.
just a junior.
I just meant subbing out. This is Scott Cole. Gets it down to Swanson on a float. Swanson rolls back, gets some hands free. Shot goes high, backed up by Powderly.
Good check by Halpert, the pole for Gilman. Great backup by Powderly.
Scott Cole, left hand. Sweeps. Shot, goal, Scotty Cole. Got that Bob Barker suit game in Plinko with my style. Money.
Talked about Scott Cole earlier in the game, Booker. He's had a really good year for McDonogh. He's a strong guy. He's inverted it a lot this year, but in this game so far today, Coach Hilgardner's kept him in front of the goal. He's driving with his offhand here, just steps into the gap, shoots that off stick side, but he had a little mustard on it. That's a big start for the Eagles here in the second half.
You know, Bob and Booker, I was listening to the Gilman kind of just emphasize that they did not want to give up those kind of shots off the sweep in the second half, and I think they were mostly referring to Dane Swanson, but there goes Scott Cole getting one with his offhand.
The voice of Dan Abram from inside Lacrosse. Gable Braun wins the ensuing faceoff. Has Powderly. Roll dodge by Powderly. And nice tight defense by Gilman there on the transition opportunity.
Bethel got up the field that time before Powderly could do anything with that. Braun might have been guilty of holding on to the ball just a little bit too long.
But Bethel also, he broke down. How important is that for a kid to break down when he slides?
We talk about approaches all the time. You have to approach fast but under control. Be quick but not in a hurry.
Yeah. Second midfield unit in. And this is Liam O'Hara. Time, room, post toasties. And that'll get them a fresh shot clock.
And that McMillan, just a freshman, was that McMillan stepped in there?
Either McMillan or Aiden Hurdle.
I can't, what number? I can't, is that 36?
It is.
Well, it's listed in the, excuse me.
This is Hilgardner. Gets a little slip, gets a little shot. Klein gets a little piece. And Bethel pushes it up the field well over the head. Spillman gets checked. Paff collects. Paff open field. Throws across the field. Sammy King.
There's Long standing up and handling that low to high shot. Booker, we have a score over in Brooklynville. The Boys Latin St. Paul's game is tied at 5 headed into the fourth quarter.
Cinco de Mayo. Godin plays some pass with Paff. Andy Andrews, number 1, also in. Godin, big wrap check by Jackson Bonnets.
Bonnets got that check earlier in the game, in the second quarter, and put the ball on the ground.
Paff tries to roll back, gets his feet back under him. And Godin floats out to the distance. That gives Bonnets a chance to slide a little bit. And now Robinson matched up on King. Here's Andrews. Likes that jitterbug. Double comes, not communicated. Paff comes up with a loose ball. Ball deflects.
Great slide up the field by Ethan Robinson from McDonogh, number 5. Ball carrier had his back to him, and he effectively slid up the field, put that ball on the ground.
King behind with Spillman. Two-man game. King comes around, save long. And Spillman is closer there.
Giving this ball to Bonnets, actually. The referee up the field actually made that call. The guy down by the goal near the ball, he deferred to the ref up the field who had a slightly better angle.
And I was going to say, I'm 53 years old. These eyes are not as good as we once all thought they were.
A couple big saves by Long on that possession by Gilman.
Liam O'Hara gets it up to Swanson, and O'Hara will go for a substitution as Scott Cole cradles.
Go back to a great slide by Ethan Robinson on that play, on that offensive possession by Gilman.
Riley Mitchell, the third midfielder, shot, goal. McDonogh driving hard, and now we get a flag flying as Scotty Cole, 2 goals here in the third quarter.
This may be a dead ball foul, so McDonogh may not even have to face this one off.
It looks like he waved it off. Here's a replay of the goal, and it's just Our Lady of Blessed acceleration. Don't fail me now.
Cole's been terrific. You know, he just scored a left-handed goal, people's radar. That's his second goal, and both huge goals to start this second half.
And it's a true credit to goaltender Evan Long for McDonogh and the McDonogh 6-on-6 defense that there can hold Gilman to 2 goals in a 2 quarters plus half of a third. Hillgardner up top. And this is McMillan.
St. Paul's BL knotted now at 6s. Some game going on down there at Brooklynville, it would appear. Big game on Powderly. Powderly's has a goal and an assist in this game, but both of them were slightly unsettled.
Inside dodge, O'Hara throws it back, and that's going to be over and back. Ball bounds all the way inside the box. And you see Halpert, the long stickman, and Gilman didn't get a great shake there. You're going to come up and knock that ball down, at least stop it so you can get the restart. McDonogh is settled into their 6-on-6.
Halpert's going to go. He was thinking that he was going to go to the line. Gilman get the first group of middies on the field.
Washburn, King, and Spillman. Spillman rolls back, has it taken away, and again, Bob, we see that slipping really affecting both teams, but Gilman a little bit more so.
Flipped, he tried this dodge, he tried to back into his man. There's O'Hara picking it up. We got a stone cold fast break. Powderly to Hillgardner, too easy, 7-4.
Coaches in the nation are getting ready to select the best high school underclass lacrosse teams in the country. Can you make the cut? The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryouts have become the premier lacrosse exposure showcase in the entire sport. Exhibit your skills to top D1, 2, and 3 coaches and compete against the top talent in your region. Push yourself, shape your future, rep your region. Visit UnderArmourLacrosse.com now and register.
The Fellowship of Christian Athletes engages their coaches and athletes to grow their faith through sport. Make sure you investigate the amazing camp at Lebanon Valley College this July. The FCA has camps, clinics, huddles, teams. Learn more about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes by going to fcalax.com.
Let's go down to the field with Inside Lacrosse's Dan Aburn.
It's only 5 goals. You've got a goalie that's playing well. He said we got to stop moving too much, stop the over-carrying, and work better on offense, share the rock a little bit better.
It's interesting, you know, my cousin Kevin is the head coach at Notre Dame, and one of his favorite things to say, Bob, is the winning plays in this game have yet to be made. Is that a true statement?
It's a great call. In other words, keep playing. It's the next play is the most important one. One of the things that's happened so far in this half, Gable Braun has exerted his ability on the face-off. That time it was a 50-50 ball. The ball was bouncing around, a couple great checks by both teams. Gilman looked like they had it, but they weren't able to corral it. McDonogh keeps the ball.
Dane Swanson feeling it. Mark it 8, dude.
We talked about Swanson earlier. He's been getting everybody's attention this year. He hadn't had quite the year he had last, but this left, and he just a blast. Look, one thing I was just thinking about, Booker, let's not forget, a month ago, McDonogh was the #1 ranked team in the country, and they went on a 4-game losing streak to start their MIAA season. Their backs were against the wall, and they needed to win 6 straight games. This is their 6th one. They had won 5 in a row to put them in a position. So this this is something unusual.
Yeah. Some great insights from Bob Shriver. Yeah, McDonogh was, in fact, they beat Culver here, and they were the #1 ranked team in the country.
McDonogh also did something unusual in that they scheduled St. Anthony's in the middle of the MIAA season when a lot of teams were taking that weekend off, and they played considerably better since that game.
It's great to hear that from Dan. I talked with Coach Hilgartner specifically about that contest, and he said, you know, they had a period in their MIAA schedule where they had some opponents that weren't Calvert Hall, as we see a shot and a goal by William Godine.
Interesting, we saw Swanson with his offhand down at the other end, going left-handed. Godine's a lefty. This is Godine driving with his offhand. Nice play, he gets inside, doesn't even have to face dodge the slide. He gets his hands free and bounces the ball. You know, we love watching games on natural grass. We don't see too many of them. The ball bounces differently. Game on grass.
Spoken like a golfer. The ball will bounce a lot of different ways. Sometimes it bounces towards that little pin, and sometimes away. That one squeaked by Evan Long. He looked like he had a nice read on it, and Nick Tusing doing what he does, winning a face-off.
And which is, he better get rid of the ball when he looks up and sees Bonnets.
Yeah.
You know, we watched B.J. Farrar for McDonogh out there in that position for 4 years, wreaking havoc.
And I'll see
Bonnets is following suit, and you're going to see him Saturday, right?
I'll see B.J. Farrar on Saturday doing the Penn Army game. Thrilled to have everybody tune in Saturday at 5 o'clock. Set your DVRs.
I'll be watching Book.
I appreciate that, Dan. At least there'll be 2, you and Bob. Paff puts a shoulder in, now pushes it out, Godine. Another slip in the same spot. Spillman slip, Godine holds on to it. Lob pass inside, handled briefly, bodies flying.
Just very good defense waiting for him. Ball's on the ground.
Lacrosse with Coach Hilgartner at the helm. Just great team defense. Good team motion offense. He certainly has done nice things in his tenure. Your buddy Jake Reed obviously was pretty much responsible for putting McDonogh back on the map. When Jake arrived in 1993, they were not a powerhouse by any stretch of the word powerhouse. Here's Powderly. Powderly going against Halpert. Nice speed by Powderly. Halpert gathers. A little slipping again by the Gilman players. And they have a grass field, Bob. They played Loyola on grass this season, so it's not Totally far. Inside feed shot. Oh, just wide. Harrison Beatty rolls back.
He didn't realize there wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him. He could have caught that, turned and shot. Instead, McDonogh right off the out of bounds. Gilman's defense is guilty of not setting up right away, Book.
McMillan with the goal for the McDonogh Eagles.
Klein's not even ready. Right, the ball just comes in really quickly, and Klein didn't quite have his stick ready to go or his feet. Touchdown.
I mean, we talked to Coach Hilgartner at halftime. He said that his team needed to improve his shooting. I didn't think he meant score crazy bangers like we're seeing so far.
McDonogh Eagles up 9-3 now in a winner-take-all game. With 2.5 minutes to go here, third quarter. Gable Braun wins the face-off pass, deflected. Cody Ince looks to come up with it. And a great ground ball by Schroeder. And just like that, Hilgartner knocks him out of bounds.
That's a bad call, actually. Tough break for Gilman.
Dane Swanson, number 1, top center right now. Gets it down to Riley Mitchell.
Always with their heads up, McDonogh, always. Everybody that's a ball carrier, you never see them put their head down. They're always looking to make the next pass, swing that ball from one side.
Goes to the turf. Didn't look like it was a push, but a great ground ball. The Eagles come away with it. Riley Mitchell. Inside feed, shot, goal, McDonogh. Scotty Cole, Hattie. How you like me now when my pinky's valued over $300,000?
Well, it's too bad. This whole series started when Gilman actually got a tough break because they should have possession of the ball off that face-off. But on that ground ball, hey, on that ground ball, McDonogh clearly hustled better than the Greyhounds did. Picked it up. Gilman's now scrambling to get back in on defense, and Cole just notched his third for a hat trick. Great ground ball.
This replay on the sideline.
Now watch Schloeder partner, and the referee missed it. That's okay. Tough break.
Tusing wins the ensuing face-off.
But it's a tough break that ultimately cost him a goal.
Oh, and a pass picked off by Gable Braun, and he is now on the fast break. Eagles looking to run. Hilge pulls it out. Witherspoon on him. Liam Powderly behind, minded by Dan.
Very poised player for a freshman, McMillan is. Gilman forced to stretch a little bit. They have to try to create some loose balls.
Shot clock at 36, game clock at 31. Now, Bob, why do they keep the shot clock on, do you know? And I'm trying to stump the expert right here, in case there's a foul. They make us pay attention to that on the ESPN Worldwide Leader.
Yeah, but a foul would reset the shot clock. So if the shot clock would run out after the quarter's over, you might as well turn the thing off.
Yeah, I agree with you. Powderly's shot goes over the cage, and McDonogh with 8.9, just under 9 seconds with which to operate. And they sub a midi. Great inside feed, shot goes wide. Would have loved to have seen Harrison Beatty go behind the back there.
1.9.
Powderly lobs it in, and it's picked off by Halpert. And that'll do it for the third quarter. 10-3. Amazing day for the Eagles. A lot of problems to be solved by the Greyhounds. Just look at some folks taking in a game as McDonogh Stadium, home to so many. Start of the fourth quarter, the RAV4 with the game of the week. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, and Dan Aburn bringing you all the festivities from McDonogh School today in a winner-take-all.
Look at that score on the board. BL St. Paul's tied with 2 minutes left in that game. Now the winner of that game will play McDonogh, it would appear. And I'm not so sure the winner of that game wants any parts of McDonogh. Yeah. What a ground ball by King.
King, great ground ball shot, save long. The Towson-bound goaltender for McDonogh has been there every chance that Gilman's had today.
Gilman hasn't had quite as many opportunities, certainly as McDonogh has, but when they've had a couple really good ones, Long has been, as he has been for 3 years, he's been up to the task. He always stands tall. You think you're going to get those things by him up high, and he rarely gets beat up high.
Great shot of the foul. Gilman goes on the man up. Offensive coach Owen Daly. Inside feed, shot, goal. Tic-tac-toe. Andy Andrews.
Great play by Gilman. Andrews starts up here in this upper right wing. He cuts in like he's taking a little stroll. And so McDonogh defense is guilty of not paying attention to him. You see him cut to the middle of the field, and then he breaks hard to the ball. Great play. Watch Andrews. There he is. He cuts in. They lose him defensively. Breaks hard to the ball. Good feed. Good finish. 10-4.
And a nice little subtle head fake from Furlong there to divert McDonogh's defense's attention and open up that little hole for Andrews.
The voice of Dan Aburn from inside the cross. Thank you so much for everyone making us part of your sports viewing day. Calvert Hall and my man Aiden Fritz getting it done against Loyola so far. St. Paul's BL still in the balance.
That game's got 28 seconds left.
Timeout by Coach Matthews saves possession right there.
Sorry, Booker, I'm just looking on this Twitter feed.
Like barbecue,
Lobster.
beignets,
Street tacos. What is lengua?
it's tongue.
Oh.
Right now, buy a Highlander with $2,500 cash back, or take 1.9% APR financing, or pick a Sienna with $3,000 cash back.
Get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Quarter, 10:55 remaining. As I look out the window at Jack Dudley, Rob Black in the stands. It's a who's who. Always like seeing Mike Morrill at these games, Bob. One of the great attackmen of our generation. Hopkins standout, his son Jackson Morrill now up at Yale, which I can't figure out why anybody would go to Yale when they have the chance to go to Roanoke. Nonetheless, he's decided to. Shout out to my man Mac Webster checking in from the Boston College golf team. And here's King. Excuse me, Path.
Keep coming. That wraparound might have been pretty good. Needed to come up another step or two and try to take his body on the arc of the crease to improve his angle. He was guilty of just running straight up the field. Good shot, nice offense. Gilman's going to this pick game behind the goal. Now McDonogh switches to their zone, which is giving Gilman some trouble here today.
Godin gets it over. Shot goes wide.
Path, as I said earlier, excuse me, Booker, he's never, I think, been a had a shot that he didn't like.
Fired more shots than the U.S. in World War II. Here's Paff. Pumps it down the wing, inside feed. Andrews handles momentarily. McDonogh defense collapses appropriately. King comes in, dive shot, no goal. Nobody in the crease, play goes on. Andrews gathers. Shot clock is now expired. Something, I thought they hit a post there, Bob, but what do I know?
It sure looked like they hit something. King, that ball bounced directly out from where King shot it, unless he hit the lower outside post, but that doesn't, that's still, you know, it seems like a post. McDonogh's under him. Ooh.
Nice ground ball pickup by Witherspoon, gets it up, and Paff an equally good scoop and control the bounce ball. What's Paff up to? Drops it back. Godin shots high, and Evan Long likes that.
Overtime in Brooklynville.
St. Paul's and Boys Latin in OT. And we have a replay that ball did hit the post, which I think, Bob, in the rules says you reset the shot clock.
That's 2 tough breaks Gilman's had down at this end of the field. That time it hit the post. There was 2 referees right on the goal line extended. Nobody singled that it was reset the shot clock. They lost.
McDonogh with that first midfield unit in. Here's Mitchell. Back up to Swanson. And Scotty Cole, already with a hat trick today, pushes it to Swanson. Now it's behind. They get it to Powderly. Swanson carries the double momentarily. Powderly now possesses. And shot clock violation against the Eagles. 7:44 to go. Gilman to clear.
Boys Latin wins in overtime, and they will be playing the McDonogh Eagles at Lake Avenue on Friday. Unless Gilman has something magical up their sleeve.
Ooh, and a big catch by Spillman. Billy Spillman, number 13 for for Gilman, just a junior. Here's Spillman, left-handed shot, gets past Long, but goes just wide. And Long will scoop it. And it's senior day at McDonogh as we see Aiden Hurdle doing the clearing work. I knew I saw Aiden in there earlier. Aiden Hurdle, younger brother of Alex Hurdle, who played that Under Armour senior game, a kid who really burst on the scene in the Under Armour All-American Underclass callback game. That callback game, the most highly coveted spot you can get in your region, whether you make the team or not. That callback game is the highest honor. College coaches go goal line to goal line. Klein makes the save. And now gets...
Who beat them in the middle of that 3-game stretch. And as I said, again, unless something unusual happens, it will be BL McDonogh, who have been in this playoff against each other, it seems like every year for the last 20.
Paff. Guarded by Ince.
That's not true.
King inside feed. And we get a crease violation. And here come the Eagles. Powderly deflects it, and Harrison Beatty comes across and gets it. Now we get the pickoff pass, and here comes Halpert. Halpert tries to force it down to King. King gets pushed. That is an easy call for referee Eddie Gianetti. Sing the praises of Gilman head coach Brooks Matthews, who's stepping down after this year. And he's won a couple championships. And he's also done an amazing job of helping young men become the best possible version of themselves. As we see McDonogh now, long shot. by Matthew Shields, and now we are run and gun.
Klein's been tremendous for Gilman today, Booker. He's really had a terrific game. He leaves this field very sad because his season's winding to an end, but he certainly can't be upset with the way he played. He's been outstanding.
Swanson comes down to get it. Bobbles it once, but gets it quickly over. And this is Lucas Michelson, the senior. Michelson getting some time. Nice job by him. In the right spot, doing the right thing. Riley Mitchell up top, Swanson. This is Hilgardner over to Mitchell. The seniors connect. Shot wide, 35 on the shot clock. And that's going to be an over and back violation again. Dan, what are you picking up down on the sideline as far as senior tributes right now?
Well, they just called timeout, and you know, hold on. We have a procedure call right here.
Got an over and back motion. Say it again, Dan.
I was just saying that the McDonogh bench has just been really lively this quarter. You know, their coaches just preached, just win this quarter, and I think they're actually being outscored 1-0 in this quarter, but they were spotted a 6-point lead. So,
30-second foul on Dane Swanson on the board. And Bob, safe to say St. Paul's is kind of limping into the playoffs. McDonogh is kind of feasting into the playoffs. The Lakers...
The Lakers won 2 huge games Saturday and today, so they're feeling pretty good about themselves coming off that loss to Spalding last Tuesday, but they've really been tested. Through the defense.
Godine gets it right here on the near side and just lobs it across the top.
McDonogh defender's a little guilty of not getting out to the middle of the field soon enough. He might have been able to pick that one off. Great pass by Godine and a better shot by Path.
Great to see my man Aiden Hurdle out there getting some wing time, doing some great things. His father Hans Hurdle right in front of the booth here. Spook Hilgardner and Hilgardner somewhere.
Ron gives Gilman a chance. He jumps on that one. 3 minutes.
And 10-5 now as Godine gets it back to Pav. Pav inside dodge, rolls, and King will scoop. This is Godine behind to King. Looking inside the whole way, gets it back, shot, what a save by Long. What's new?
Great save by Long. He stoned him up top a bunch today. That time, Furlong dropped his stick and shot a really nice low bouncer. Long went right down and got it. Watch this save, watch Long. Beautiful, unbelievable.
Godine sweeps across the top in live action, then comes back for his right side. King rolls. Nice play by King to possess.
Booker, I've been singing, excuse me, Noah Klein, Gilman's goalie's praises. He's had more opportunities to show his stuff, but Long down at this end of the field, he's been up to the task too. He's had an outstanding game. Hadn't had as many opportunities, but when presented with some tough ones, he's been right there, as he was.
Exhibit A. I mean, that's a hard bouncer by Logan Paff, and Evan Long just wrestles it and gathers the rebound. Shrugs it off. As you see, Liam O'Hara, senior for the McDonogh Eagles, on senior day with now under 2 minutes to go. The clock ticking down on a lot of careers for seniors at Gilman right now.
They've never hesitated. McDonogh's never hesitated if they think Long's not quite on his game to put Scarborough in. He's a very good lacrosse player.
And I'll tell you, I played against his father, Jason Scarborough. Very friendly guy to play against, like Steve Bevel, for both defensemen at Washington College, ironically. Super sweet guys. Powderly shot, save, Klein. That's it. A fantastic save for Klein because it's the end of his career, and he does what he does. Shot, goal, as Gilman makes it happen. It's Furlong coming around.
Well, Booker, I think it's time to talk about the player of the game. Now, this game was 4-2 at halftime. McDonogh scored both of them.
Great finish on the inside by Dutch Furlong for Gilman, and they make it 10-6. Could be a little bit of window dressing. And a happy and respectful farewell to Gilman head coach Brooks Matthews. Saw some great Gilman teams during his tenure. As Bonnets comes up with it, now we get a flag late with 30.9 seconds. Illegal body check is the call. And Gilman's going to go on the man up.
Yeah, Brooks has had a wonderful career at Gilman. Couple MIAA titles, I think 09 and 11.
Hundreds of
tremendous
great
players.
Kids.
Yep.
Dozens of Under Armour All-Americans at the underclass level. Almost a dozen at the senior class level. And we get a timeout on the field. We're going to stay here, Bob. You talk about that Under Armour underclass All-American thing and the callback game and how vital it is. But let's look at McDonogh as they
this year was top-heavy at the beginning, Booker. It was top-heavy at the beginning, but it was not so top-heavy at the end. This has been arguably the hardest game they've had to play here at the end of the year, and it came last. They got their mojo going. Dan alluded to the fact that they went up and played one of the best high school teams in the country over the Easter break. They played St. Anthony's High School from Long Island, and they hung in there, played pretty well. They lost close game. It was a one-goal game with about 4 minutes left. They ended up losing 10-7. So they've clearly, after unbelievable start for the Eagles, they've righted the ship.
And when you say unbelievable, you mean unbelievable great, because they were
Yes.
number one in the country.
Absolutely.
And then unbelievable kind of awkward to the beginning of the MIA season. They lost, to St. Paul's at St. Paul's in the beginner. Here's Logan Paff, shot, goal.
Oh, my Lord.
You know he likes that.
Paff is showing he scored 3 goals from right there in this half. All of them were one shot after another was more impressive. This is a high, hard heat. That was a ball that was fed to the crease. It went through to Paff, planted his feet and stuck that up in the corner. That's his 3rd goal. Might even be his 3rd goal this quarter.
A 3-goal deficit with 22 seconds to go. McDonogh still in the box. 3-on-2 face-off. Not that Tusing needs the help, although against Gable Braun, he would. McDonogh sends out face-off man Edward Pope, the senior. And we get a timeout by Coach Matthews. He wants to reset things and probably talk to his seniors a little bit.
Well, there's still extra man for another 42 seconds. There's only 12 and a half in the game. Sure, he would love to finish this off with another tally. The final score probably not indicative of, really the way the game went. I would also add, if I might, that my son actually got married this December to Brooks Matthews, Coach Matthews' niece, Brooke Matthews, who's now the head lacrosse coach at Bryn Mawr. He's been wonderful to my son, as has his brother, Mickey Matthews, Brooks' father.
Who just had a birthday on Saturday. Let's look at the highlights and let's look at our MedStar. Our MedStar player of the game today, certainly Scott Cole. What a tremendous performance by him. Gilman man up, ready to do something very quickly. They try to get that same play back to Matthews. Ball collected by King. Scott Cole had a great one There's your Eagles celebrating in front of referee Eddie Gianetti. Bob, MedStar player of the game, Scotty Cole, he came out of the second half and made a difference, made an impact. Here are the replays.
Scotty Cole, he's going to take this thing offhand, left hand, and just step into that seam and really got some juice on it. And then this is what he's shown all year. He's been terrific around the goal line, especially off that goal line extended. He comes in hard, gets the ball back to his strong hand, and then this is off a ground ball. Scotty Cole just steps into the open space. Very nice feed by his teammate, and he buries his third goal in the second half and helped propel the McDonogh Eagles back into the playoffs.
On senior day, it was a junior who made the difference for Dan Aburn and Invicka and Bob Shriver. I'm Booker Corrigan. Congratulations to the Eagles. Congratulations to Brooke Matthews on an amazing career. And I want to remind you, you only get one shot at today.